a mind which is still active. For that mind, if you describe God as a embodiment of independent, intelligent, free-willed being, you will feel always intimidated. You will feel, oh, if something else also exists, then should I relate with that through fear, by begging, praying, or greed, by offering, surrendering, or should I start praying? What kind of a relationship I should start developing with it? Because the mind always try to retain its existence by the methodology of relating. When the method to relate is disconnected, it disappears. It is by the methodology of the relating, it retains its existence. So when mind is there, if the masters utter a word, Ishvara, immediately, oh, he is there. He is intelligent and he is independent. He has a free will. So, he may judge me. He may not accept me. So how should I relate with him? Should I start praying to him? How should I please him? Should I start talking to him? Should I start escaping from him, denying him? Or what should be the thing? Or should I start conquering him? Understand, he is not Ishvara as you perceive, who moves like you. He is Isha, who can be perceived only when there is no movement in you. Any perception you have about him, when there is a movement, is only Jagat, not Ishvara. Only these three you need to know in the life. Everything else will be cleared just if you know about these three. Jiva, individual soul, which perceives. Jagat, universe, which is constantly changing. Which changes is Jagat. And Ishvara, God. Listen. Please listen. As long as there is a movement in you in the form of thought and feeling, which tries to include and conclude. Thought tries to conclude, feeling tries to include. As long as these movements are happening in you, what you perceive inside you and outside you is Jagat, changing. When this thought and emotion, which tries to include and conclude, merges, and that Shanti, silence prevails, you will understand whatever you perceived as Jagat also is nothing but Isha. I can say the whole Sanatana Hindu Dharma starts and ends in this first line. The logic which goes on tries to conclude, an emotion which goes on tries to include, this both, when they are moving, when they have not completed with each other, when there is an incompletion, only when there is an incompletion there will be movement. When there is completion, no movement, pure silence. When there is a movement, listen, when there is a movement, you will perceive yourself inside you, outside you. Whatever you feel as mamakara, as ahankara, anyakara, swa-anyakara, all this will be changing. Jagat. Listen. Even when something is changing, it is Isha. Even when you think, when you perceive, it is changing, it is Isha. When you reach the silence of you, when inside there is no movement, there is no incompletions, there is only completion, you will perceive you inside, outside as Isha. Understand? When there is a change in you in the form of thinking or feeling, what you perceive and what you perceive inside and outside is called Jagat, universe, which is changing. And when you are in the space of completion, peacefulness, then what you perceive as you and everything else is God. Here, the Upanishadic rishis are declaring, Upanishads are declaring, I should not even use the word Upanishadic rishis are declaring, no, Upanishads are declaring. Dharma declares its authority by itself is Upanishads, without the help of any author or the authority of any author. Author not only brings authenticity, he brings authority also. Here, Dharma does not need authenticity or authority from anyone else. The person who lends authenticity naturally lends authority also. When he lends authenticity, he has authority. Upanishads does not need anybody to authenticate it. So, nobody has authority over it. That is why Apaurushya, no author. It is declaring its own grandeur and beauty by its own existence.